Hey everyone, welcome to Tactical Tuesday. Tonight's topic, frozen and broken. We're going to talk about some of the obvious and not obvious things you need to worry about with freezing temperatures and your preps. And going to bring everybody up here. There we go.
Oh. Hello, Gil.
Hey, we got people. We have people up here that have been in some really nasty cold stuff in the back east. Unfortunately, Bruce was up in Pittsburgh. Courtney's in Ohio. I was actually
in Alaska.
I was actually up in New Brighton and Mount Pleasant on either side of Pittsburgh back in '79.
That was a couple years ago, Gil.
Yeah. But all right, let's see who all we got. Okay, we got a bunch in here. So let me go ahead and do roll call here. Scroll on back up here. And all right, first one in was Walt Rogers. Hey, Walt. Then Idaho Garden Girl, Emma 3010. Then Courtney started talking to him. Granny Goose came in. And Suburban Hillbilly. Joe, Garden State Gardeners here. Kaylin Strain. And everyone's talking about. Oh, Abby just joined us there too. Gear Grinding came, and everyone's talking back and forth. Uncle Al's here. Gardener Josh is here. Josh, I had it set up as a reminder, and I got busy in another part of the house and forgot to come back in here for the last couple hours and totally missed yours. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so embarrassed on that. Everybody's talking. Okay, alrighty. Okay, Idaho Garden Girl, we'll worry about getting you up here on another time we have a chance to. And they froze on the ice beneath me here next to Bruce, man. It's freezing me. Yeah, we'll get a chance to practice, and maybe we even get you to practice up on one of Courtney's late night ones with just a few of us out here. All righty. So the thing that I was thinking about for this, I kind of hit it a little bit about it last year. Yeah, it's been last year. Oof. And actually, it's been more than a year. I think it was back in September I did it, trying to get people ready for it. But with the current situation in the grocery stores going on and the lack of certain things and the ability to run down and get certain things, I think it's advantageous for everybody to take a step back and go, all right, what can I get fixed around here so I don't lose the stuff I have? And that's the premise of this, because hey, what happened last year in a place that never freezes?
You're talking about Texas.
Yeah, we had the Texas.
That's where my parents live.
Texas apocalypse. And you can talk about that when we get in, when I bring up the Texas stuff. But first, let's just talk about regular stuff here. So let's jump over here. And all right, come on, work. There we go. Boom, boom. All right. So when the temperature gets down below freezing, it's okay for your preps, right?
Depends on what they are and where they are.
Exactly. Yeah, so those jars of applesauce, they're great when it freezes, right?
Yeah.
So, freezing temperatures can wipe out your preps. I mean, depending where you have them stored, and it can wipe them out quick. My sister was down there in it, and her house froze. Fortunately, her son's house was right across the street from one of the institutions that's on a priority grid. And so they had blackouts and stuff, but only for a couple hours at a time, and the power was brought back up because of the hospital across the street. So, but more than just food and water can get ruined when you have a freeze. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, actually, we're going to see that here in a sec. Oh, come on, wrong button. Let's start with the simple stuff. If you have a garden still going on, like my sister did down in Texas, and my cousin Debbie did down in Texas, and all of a sudden their stuff freezes, they're not going to have the crops they thought they were going to have, for the rest of the winter.
Well, and that's something that they didn't plan for either, because who's going to think it's going to snow in Texas, right?
Yeah, especially as far south as it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, up in the top by the Oklahoma Panhandle. Yeah, they get a little snow up there, but not down in the in the southern part.
Yeah, Louisiana and stuff was like they had snow there. The resorts were like
freaking out.
Yeah.
They're like, what is this white stuff? Was there a nuclear war or something?
Did Yellowstone blow? Is this volcanic ash? All right. So I got some pictures here to look at here. This one here, if you look upwards, you see that this has metal girder, so it's like a standalone garage. It's not part of the house. But if you look at that right up there, the roll-up door, how thin that door is, I mean, that is some thin board, panels on there for it. And that ain't going to stop much cold, those panels.
Mm-mm.
And so if this place does not have a heater of some sort in the garage, even if it's just a water heater which radiates heat and keeps the area around it warm and stuff, they can have a lot of problem with all those cans freezing. And you get a big number 10 can to freeze, it blows. It don't stay contained. When that thing freezes, it expands enough to pop. Hey, Mennonite Farmhouse. Sure I don't miss anybody else sneaking in here. All right, and then so there's a lot of things. People think, oh, I got my garage is all insulated. The walls, the ceiling are insulated. What about the roll-up door? The house across the street, when in the shop where I was filming a bunch of stuff a couple years ago in the shop, I had using it the backdrop. I was using the roll-up doors, and they had the 1.25 styrofoam stuff cut and put into the panels to roll up, and they sprayed around it with that foam insulation, so that garage door was insulated to hold it back. And they didn't store much stuff out there, but they didn't want any of their stuff.
It's not that cold yet, Gil. Come on, man.
Yeah, they didn't want any of the things they were storing out in there to freeze and everything. So, So let's look at another one here. All right.
Wow.
All right.
That's,
this is it.
Severely organized.
Yes, severely organized. Actually, that's two different ones side by side, but but basically, people that have cabinets and stuff, sometimes they'll have a closet like this on an outside wall.
Yep.
And if they don't open those doors up so stuff can warm up to room temperature now and then, stuff can freeze.
Yeah.
Now they have a little closet room, or then things they've turned into a storage room, and like a lot of people do, they close off the air conditioning vent and heating vent because they don't want it to cook the food in there. And during the winter time and stuff, well, you need to have a little heat getting in there during the winter time just to offset it. Because if there's water pipes in those walls, and that room's not getting any heat to it, that means there's no heat radiating out through the wall into those water pipes. And bad things happen when the water pipes in the wall freeze. This is someone's really nice one, and this is actually a home one. I'm not going to say whose it is or how I found it, but this is an outside corner of the house. And they actually had a problem because they turned off the AC to it. Fortunately, they were just setting stuff up and they had water jugs, and the water jugs froze. And they go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Time to open up those AC vents and let the heat come back in. Because, hey, in the summertime, that room can also overheat in the summertime. So you still want the AC blowing in there to keep the food at a certain temperature. And let's go on here. So no heat in the wintertime equals a disaster. And let's see some disaster, shall we? All right. Someone's canning jars.
Mm-hmm.
They're not made to be frozen in like this. Stuff.
You were lucky Mouse Toes isn't here. She'd probably go over there and smack you in the back of the head for showing that.
Oh no, she'd say she gets all over this when about the people that let it freeze and ruin those good jars.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Even, copper pipes, galvanized pipes, burst. I can't remember what it's called now. It's the gray type of pipe they used to use in modular homes, and they used it in travel trailers and stuff. Breaks when it gets frozen. PEX is a little bit better. It can actually flex without breaking, but it's still, if it gets really cold and the whole line freezes, yeah, it can pop and break. And when a water line like that breaks, the results is ugly and pretty at the same time.
Yeah, that's horrible.
And so, yeah, people go on vacation, they turn the heater off. The furnace off. Hello, people, you don't turn off the furnace when you go on vacation in the wintertime. You turn it down to the lowest setting, 55 or 45. That way, it keeps this from happening. And, yeah, that's a lot of water there. And then, of course, this is all.
Oh, my God, that makes me sick.
This is all the drywall that fell when it froze, and when it started to melt, it brought all the stuff down. And because basically the drywall itself defrosted first, and the ice above it then is solid on top of it, just brought it down. But if you look all the way back over there by the sink and stuff, sheetrock fell everywhere.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking that was a scene of a house that was on fire, because there's water all over the floor and all the ceilings brought down. That's what we always did at fires.
Yeah, but there's no smoke damage.
This is true.
And then, of course, if you have a garage...
Is that real? That can't be real.
That is real. And, in fact, the actual picture on it goes out a couple more feet, because they had to get cropped to fit. So the picture goes out and shows even more.
Yeah, the only time I've ever seen anything like that is when cars are parked by the lake. Yeah. And they get,
if you look at the ceiling in there, see all the pink stuff? Oh, we insulated. Everything will be fine. Yeah, but the water line that was running across up in the attic portion didn't have any insulation on it. And, you didn't have the foam stuff around the pipe. It went and down. And so, good thing these people belong to AAA, though. Hey. So now, if you had your preps in this garage, if you had shelves along there or things stacked all around, what would have happened to your preps?
Same thing that happened to your car.
Exactly. And what I'm looking at that's bad is over on the right side of the right car here. You see that wall of ice against the car? And as that came down and built up, it's crushing. It pushes outward. Mm-hmm. So I'm willing to bet that the front of that car has a dent in it there on the door or whatever, and some other stuff, damaged stuff. I mean, ice does interesting things to cars and stuff. So if you had your supplies in your garage and you had this happen, all those totes and stuff, they're not exactly waterproof. And so you could have stuff, it could get down there, it could, lift a little bit, it could start getting around the lip of those, like those black and yellow containers, and pop them off. And those flimsy ones you get at Walmart, it'll pop those right off. Okay, we got Diggs Outdoors here, Aiden Ears here, Howie's here, Zombie Prepper's here, Duncan 1900 Homestead has come in, Fishes and Loves Life has come in, Q Kitchen and Beyond, hey, Cosmic Cultivators, Outdoor with Big Matt is here, a couple more have come in here, going back at Batman Backwoodsman's here. All right, and anybody else that I missed, hi, glad to have you here. All right, let's go on to the next picture and see what sort of other ugliness there is. Come on. Oh, and if you're thinking about using your travel trailer outside and you're in an area where it freezes, you think your preps are going to be in there, unless it's all dry goods, you're going to have problems. And even with some dry goods, if you don't have the silica, the desiccant packets in there to get the moisture out, the moisture in the air is going to freeze around your preps. Yeah. You're going to get frost on it. And then when the frost, it's going to get the moisture in there now that's condensed, and it's going to cause problems. So don't use a trailer to store stuff in. Likewise, if you got these little garden sheds and you want to store your preps in there, what is the number one thing you got to do to it?
Insulate it.
Insulate it. Walls, floors, ceiling. Sean in Alaska, I was talking about on his travel trailer, they laid several layers of carpet down to give extra insulation for the floor. He still, when he gets out of bed, make sure he has slippers on, doesn't just walk across it in the wintertime. All right. Yeah. And some of these sheds can be really nice and stuff, but still you need to insulate them and get them set up. And then the next thing you need to do, if you're going to have a shed like this, go ahead and get the permit so you can run electricity to it. At least that way you can put one of those, like we were talking about last night with the chickens, put one of those thermal receptacle plugs in, where you can just have a light, or a ceramic heater or something, so when the temperature actually gets down to 33 degrees, it comes on for a little bit and keeps everything from freezing. All right, and the plastic ones, I have to laugh at my son-in-law and daughter on this one. They bought one and they were going to use it for a chicken coop. They had to have so many friggin' lights out there to keep the water from freezing the food out, way in heck out there where they had it. And it was like, they moved the chickens into the current place they're currently in now when I pulled it out for them. So, but if you're trying to insulate one of these plastic ones, it's a mess because there's no studs in the walls to put it to, and so you got to use spray adhesive, spray the walls, put up the foam board or the styrofoam insulation against the walls, and go around and do that, and then you got to foam seal it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Josh was just saying, take spray foam and fill the walls. Oh, the pieces on this, I guess he's talking about. You can actually, drill a hole and shoot the stuff into it and let it fill up in the holes in there. But still, some of it, it's still a little bit. And it's not much, but yeah, it's a waste of. This is not a good place to store your preps unless you're storing wheat in a container that's already.
That's right, Idaho Garden Girl. You're right.
It'd be bad news with chickens. Yeah. All right, and let's see the next one here. Okay, so we're going to ask for suggestions and what else not to do on your preps. Everybody get thinking there, and things you should be doing. So start firing off suggestions, and I'm going to drop this down. And while you guys are throwing suggestions out here, we're going to look at Texas. All of these pictures are Texas last year. All right. Ceiling fan, water leaked above it. The fountain, the water line burst in the street and froze. These are at a power station thing. It looks like. What else? Oh, there you go. Yeah, the water system.
It was a good way for him to find all the leaks in the pipes in the water system, though.
Oh, yeah. And what's interesting is some of the headings on some of these. This one here, the heading on this one, frozen wind turbines are not the only reason for Texas blackouts. This one here was, I didn't want to hit it that way, sorry. Yeah, but there's the headline for the article. So, yeah, they've never seen this on their highways down there.
And they definitely don't have plows down there, trust me.
Yeah, about the only thing they had was motor graders from construction sites to get out there, and then front loaders and, try piling it up, scooping it up, and dumping it in dump trucks to haul it off. But
in Kentucky, if it just dusted snow, there wouldn't be any food on the shelves or anything.
Yeah. imagine fueling your car at 40 below zeros and you spill a few drops on you as you are returning the nozzle. Oh, yeah. And there we go. Think of what happens when the electricity goes off. Even if you have your house all insulated, your pipes all insulated, and the power's out for a week, those pipes are going to freeze. There's just nothing about it. My sister, fortunately, used to live up in Draper, Utah, up by Salt Lake. And they had where the water froze, the water lines underground. And so, see, hey, Steve, Corsair's Trainers. This is what's coming to California right now, Steve.
Yeah.
This is the forecast. And so, I love Steve. He's a great guy. She knew enough that when she had to leave her house to go over there because the power was out, she knew things were going to freeze. So she opened up all the taps, turned off the water coming into the house, and drained the lines inside the house so she didn't lose any of her water lines.
Oh.
So let's see. This is a cute one here, y'all. You know, it's still blowing water up, but it's built up, and the water coming out of the fountain is still warm enough to keep it going for a little bit longer.
That's crazy.
But power lines. Hey, yeah, you can see. This one's not showing too much on it, but it's some of the. Here we go. There's the ones that are frozen, and these power lines, for down in the warm states, aren't the same. The material is not the same as the ones they put up in, say, Pennsylvania, Maine.
Okay. I was just going to
Minnesota.
ask that because I was like, that's really strange.
Yeah, because because I've seen some of them where they get so much ice on them they start bending and stuff. They're not as strong. Yeah. They're not. These are the ones up north are made to hold ice on them. The ones down south, hey, they never freeze. We don't need to go with those high dollar wire stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they learned, but yeah, there's a lot of problem. People don't know how to drive in Texas in snow.
People
there's a lot of people. I was just going to say that. There's a lot of people in snow country that can't drive either.
Yeah. It snowed last night, and my husband was like, it wasn't that much snow, just a little bit, and people were like all over the roads already. And it was like really the first snow of the year.
And that's the worst one because everybody has to get back in from summer mode to winter mode. So everybody goes sliding all over the place. Whoa.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too. Fortunately, these people here are smart enough to be out on their balcony with their fire to stay warm. There were a bunch of idiots that, brought the barbecue inside. And as Uncle Al said, they went.
Yep.
So there is a lot of things to consider. So with everything freezing and whatnot, I'm going to bring us back just to us. The one thing, all right, cans. I mentioned cans earlier. If cans freeze, and if you have let me just show you what I got here. Let's see if it'll work here. The can's against the wall there, and the jar's against the wall. That's an outside corner, but the temperature in here, I don't know if you can see that up there, is 70 degrees. So it ain't going to freeze in this room. So, too high. Come on, work. It doesn't want, come on, cord. The cord's pushing it up. There we go, a little bit. At least I'm halfway semi-straightened out here. I'm tilted. So, if your cans freeze, you may grab the one closest to on the front of the shelf, shake it. Oh, it's still liquid, but the ones in back are frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Could be frozen because they're against that outside wall. If you let that room get cold, and so basically you can have some split cans there. They froze, split, and they're not dripping everywhere, and you think you're good till spring thaw comes, and all of a sudden now you got tomato sauce, apple sauce, and other stuff dripping down the back.
I have never had that happen because I store everything in my basement.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Get off the trampoline. But yeah, so, but also what I have over here next to it, underneath the tables and stuff here, I got paper towels and toilet paper stash back there, Kleenex, napkins, and all that stuff. So if those were to leak down, I would just lost all those paper goods. Which is one of the reasons I keep it up to 70 degrees in here, so that never happens. All right, let's see. Oh, one of the other things that that people don't think about, if they are prepping clothes or storing clothes to pass down from kids to kids to kids, a couple of years apart. Okay, this one's not ready to go into, so we're going to box it up and put it out in the garage. If they're boxed up in cardboard boxes, and that picture we showed with all the stuff, that's what's the backdrop of us is that same picture where the cars are frozen. And that garage freezes like it does just underneath you, Courtney. And those boxes are along that wall.
Yeah.
Those clothes, you're probably just going to have to throw them away. Because by the time all the water's going to get in there, it's going to freeze up. And as it slowly melts and stuff and everything, you're going to start getting mildew and mold growing in them.
Oh, yeah. That's horrible.
So you'll lose clothes that way. Paper goods, dry goods. If you have like you have stuff in boxes or in the 5-gallon buckets of the wheat, rice, and that stuff, or you have it in the special bags and stuff that are stored out there because you don't have a rodent problem. You're just storing it in the garage. Water gets on there. It's gonna tear up those rubberized bags. It's gonna the water can freeze around the buckets and crack the buckets, and so you'll lose a lot of stuff. And it's not just your food preps you're losing. It's all of these clothing and other things. If you have boxes of medicine stored out there, because hey, the rats and mice aren't going to get into it. What's going on? What's on the side of your chat here? Black goo. Yeah. Yeah, Al, black goo. And so you're going to have, anything else that can be damaged by water that you thought was safe in the garage or you thought was safe in a back room or a closet, and it freezes. Boom. So now I rattled on long enough. Now I'm going to let Bruce do some rattling.
Uh-oh.
How was it up there in Pennsylvania?
It get cold. I mean, usually between January, February, somewhere in there, we would get a cold snap, and Courtney probably ran into the same thing over there in Ohio, where it would get minus 15, minus 20 for like a week or maybe two. So if you weren't prepared and you didn't have all your outdoor faucets on the side of your house covered up, because they make these little covers for them to put on there, if you didn't have all those covered up, you'd find out real quick that you didn't have them covered up, because there'd be pipes popping everywhere.
Yeah. Did you have those ones that basically they're it's on the wall, but it's going into the wall? It has like about 6, 8, 10 inches into the house before it has the connection on it. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
The house that we were in an apartment, and that apartment was built in like the 40s, or no, it was, sorry. That apartment building actually used to be the schoolhouse. It was built in like the 1880s or something. So yeah, the plumbing that was done in there was done in like the 30s, 40s. Yeah. And we did have a couple times that there were some issues. Nothing too bad, but there were issues, and they ended up having to get new heaters and things like that, because in the room, the maintenance or the machinery room, they didn't have any heaters. The apartment owner didn't put any heaters in there, and we had some issues in there. It actually froze where the pipe came up out of the ground for all of the apartments in the apartment complex. There's 4 of them. The pipe froze there, and they had to go dig it out and put a new pipe in.
That's
all of a sudden we ended up with 3 or 4 heaters in there for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, the expensive digging that out probably was not cheap. So what I was talking about, for those that don't know, like Steve in Southern California, where he never sees anything cold, these is what I'm talking about.
Yep.
one of these, they have it there, and the valve is actually back here. So when you turn it off, this drains out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing to freeze there. I did a video where I put one of these in the house across the street. So yeah, these are really cool ones. Yeah.
And if you did have something like that, you wouldn't have to worry about putting the cover on the outside, because where the valve is actually all the way inside, and hopefully that's where it's heated in there.
Yeah. Hey, country homestead preacher. Yeah. Steve threw up the
palm trees in the sun. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, but don't
Steve,
forget.
Got an itch.
I know Steve's just sitting there laughing, bouncing and laughing. But hey, Steve, the forecasts are for February for Southern California to get down to 30 degrees a couple times.
I don't know if Steve will survive that. He might have to have 3 parkas on.
All right. Courtney, have you had anything bad as far as water pipes freezing from where you were at up there?
I hadn't. My old house, we didn't have water pipes freezing, but we had to do that with the faucets on the outside. So yeah, but for the most part, no, everything is, because we're so used to the winter weather here. It's like everything is like that already.
I'm trying to remember when it was. Okay, it was the winter of 74, 75, that winter. I was living on the north rim of the Grand Canyon. My sister was up in Draper. Or was it Sandy? They're right. She moved around up there, all the little communities right there next to each other there up by Salt Lake. Her brother-in-law's place froze so bad, they had a basement. And so the water line came buried into the basement. But the basement cement foundation wall was froze down got down low enough to the pipe and froze the water line, and it broke it off as it came into the house.
Yeah.
His basement started flooding.
That's horrible.
In the middle of the night.
Oh, especially in the middle of the night, and you don't know, and you,
Yes.
Oh, so you're saying he had a swimming pool in his basement when he went down?
He had an ice skating rink in his basement when he went down. And they had these around the outside, but everything down in the where the water line came in through the basement was barely at historic average frost depth. Now that tells you the minimum the contractor has to dig down, and there's no margin for a 20-year frost.
Yeah.
And that's what they had. And I froze. So the hey, gunslinger.
Hey, gunslinger.
So there's a lot of things to consider about where you're storing your preps, how you're storing your preps, and all even just normal house stuff. If you have a room that's not being used, and it's, I'm just going to close the door and we're going to turn off the AC to it, make sure there's no water lines running through any of the walls of that room, not just the outside walls, but the inside walls as well. Because if that wall gets down to freezing, there's no insulation in these other walls. So any pipe in there is just going to get and frozen. So there's a lot of ugliness there. Did you see many houses with other houses besides that apartment you were in, Bruce, where they've had water problems, working in the EOC?
Oh, yeah, because actually when I was at the fire department, we have pumps on our fire trucks and our brush truck and everything. And we also had a trash pump that we could take out, put on the back of the brush truck. And yeah, if it got down for that -10, -20 for that week or two, people wouldn't think about it, and they wouldn't remember, I didn't put the pool noodles over my pipes underneath the house. And a lot of houses there did have basements. So we would get a call in the middle of the night, hey, somebody's basement's flooding, and we have to run out there with the trash pump and pump out basements. That was always fun.
Kentucky went crazy on the ice storm Look up just jumped. Kentucky ice storm in Kentucky. Okay, let me look up ice storm in Kentucky.
That was back like 97, 98, something like that.
And Kentucky is south, or no, it's Kentucky's.
It's right above Tennessee.
It is above Tennessee. Okay.
Yep.
All right, and let's see. Okay. Oh, there we go. Got a lot of trees being bending over and breaking.
Yeah, I was actually going through big truck driver training when that happened.
2009 ice storm.
Yep.
Lexington. And just you just look at that. At least they were smart enough to raise their windshield wiper blades, so it didn't freeze to the windshield.
Yep. That had happened up in PA all the time. If you didn't remember it was going to snow that night. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that was a pain in the butt because you'd have to chip it off without breaking the windshield wipers because they're down to minus 10 or minus 20, whatever it was outside. And if you hit the rubber with your ice scraper, you just tear the windshield wiper all apart. And then you're like, oh, man.
Yeah, I'm a horrible winter driver, and I just don't care about my windshield wipers. So I use a lot of de-icer, and don't really care.
Just don't use boiling hot water.
Yeah, it'll fracture your windows so fast. Actually, what I found for up here, when I came from Northern California up here, Bosch makes a windshield wiper that doesn't have the little arches in it. It's a molded plastic one for each type of vehicles. So basically, it's made for doing snow and ice.
Oh, nice.
And so it really protects the wiper and everything else from accidental scraping on it. But look at these power lines, how low they are to the ground.
So are you saying we shouldn't touch those, right?
Nah.
Well, it depends. Are you the lowest ranking guy on the fire truck? If you are, you're the one that gets to go out and touch it. Hey, are those live? Send him out there.
In the military, who would we send out?
The privates.
I thought you were going to say the Marines.
Man, you got to have them for... You got to have them at the front lines for the 11 bang bangs because they need bullet stoppers, you know.
Hey, Vidra. All right.
Steve must not have caught that. He's not yelling over in the chat yet.
Well, all right. I noticed the lag time from at the beginning to the one computer here that where I got that stuff going. And he goes back. Oh, but yeah. Actually, let me go here. Just to see what it brings up here, just for laughs and giggles. Oh! Wait a minute! Look at the heading on this. Southern California slammed by winter snows. Southern California rain
Steve is in trouble.
Oh, look at this. Southern California interstates. People cannot stay on the roads.
Well, I wonder why. They were probably doing 95, and they're like, what the hell is this white stuff? I don't know what that is. Keep going.
Southern California, another storm is coming. Oh, boy. Look out, Steve. It's coming for you. Oh, wait, let's see if we can read the sign. Yeah, all right. So this is between Bakersfield and Los Angeles. So this is probably up there on the Grapevine. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, those are the Grapevine pictures there. But that's not Grapevine. Yeah, I remember being up in Southern Tahunga, up there just a little bit east of Burbank, and we actually got snow up there back in the late. Yeah, about 1969, we got snow there. Yeah. Southern California people hate for me to talk about that.
Wonder why.
All right. He says he can't laugh at him in Alabama. We can't drive in snow and ice. Yeah, it's amazing. It's not all right. I'm gonna get away from the jocularity here and get back to some serious stuff here. If the roads, if you're like in Texas, okay, and you get those unexpected freezes, it doesn't have to be snow. It can just be an ice storm, and it's only going to last for a day or two. Whether you're not going to be out there driving, the roads are going to be bad. What's that going to do to the trucking?
Yeah, there's going to be no supplies.
No supplies.
Nothing on the shelves.
Yeah.
And the first thing everybody's going to do when it's going to be freezing and we're going to get ice storm tomorrow. Shelves are going to be bare by 9:00 that night.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're one of the ones that are busy working stuff and you don't hear the news on it, and it's like, oh crud, I gotta go out in the morning and I gotta go get Saturday morning if it snows here, I gotta get out there and get something. You're gonna be like one of those ones on the side of the road there, or you're gonna be stuck behind someone who spun out.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna be able to go get supplies. Yeah,
milk, bread, eggs, toilet paper. That's what always ran out on all the shelves in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And Al's out there saying too dry where he is. Of course, that's out there in the lower Central Valley on the lowlands. Yeah, it is dry there. It has to be a heavy rainstorm come in with the freezing temperatures for them to get a little bit down there.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, though, speaking for Southern California, I was there from 1971 earthquake. First thing gone off the shelves, toilet paper. When we had had one of the freezes there, toilet paper and milk. First thing's gone. Then the other stuff started disappearing.
The other thing that will also go out in Pennsylvania when there was a big storm coming was the soups. Because I guess everybody figured it was easier to do soup and do it like on a camping grill on the porch or something than to try and fix anything else up for meals. So the soups would also run out all the time.
Sad. We just don't have that problem here. Like, nothing really ever runs out on the shelves or anything like that. Nobody's ever that panicked about it unless it's like the first of the snow of the season. It's usually not like that here. We're so used to it that, but I like where I lived in Kentucky and stuff, like that was not the case. People were freaking out. I got sent home early from work because it snowed very lately. So, yeah.
Actually, this is what I'm going to be doing I'm filming a video on tomorrow. Probably won't come out tomorrow. Probably won't come out for the next couple of days. But I'm going to be using the bread machine for the first time for me to use it. My wife has used it. My daughter's used it. It's going to be my first time to use it and make bread myself.
Are we going to have a quirky incident part 2?
No. This is a bread machine.
No.
On the counter, bread machine. Do it, fix it up, and it does everything all itself. Once you put all the ingredients in. I just saw something there I wanted to keep charcoal for grills in wintertime, but don't bring it in the house. Yeah.
What do you mean? I can't bring my grill in the house?
Yeah.
Well, you already had a charcoal briquette going there, so I guess we're okay.
For anybody looking for the story behind this, go back to Courtney's video, one of her live streams last week, and it was explained on that. I think it was also explained, was it last night's late one? It came up again, so.
It always seems to. I don't know why. Learn to. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Hey, I got hundreds of pounds of wheat out there, red winter wheat. Got a whole bunch of rice. I can make rice flour. I got 3 different types of grain mills. Oh, God. Steve. Am I already turning red?
What's the story? The story is she gets red cheeks.
The story goes with one of the stories I keep telling my son-in-law. You're cooking in the kitchen, you don't leave the kitchen. That's all I'm going to say. But, yeah, there's, oh, hey, this looks like the house, the hill behind Steve's house. I got to show this one. That looks like the house behind Steve's, the hill behind Steve's house. Rain and snow hitting on it. They're getting a light dusting on it. Oh, and yes, this is California Highway Patrol. Yes. Yeah, it's like, everywhere can have a freak storm like Texas did and everywhere else. When they mentioned about the 4 weeks there in Kentucky, I was going to mention Old School Prepper last year has a video series from when they were out 10 days without power due to the ice storm near they're just kind of southeast of Portland. And yeah. Oh, the real story. Oh, yes, the water pipes in the ceiling broke and he's getting a shower. And she was without, they were out power. They had their generator, so they run it a little bit, do stuff. They had their well pump with the hand pump on it to try to get water at times. But when in between the freezes, and when the power was out, they'd freeze, rain, gets a couple days, and then freeze, and then a couple days of rain and freeze. So they were catching rainwater and using rainwater for the toilets and stuff like that. But Martha Old School Prepper had I think there's like 5 or 6 videos on that of the stuff going on. And so and they're Portland next to the sea. It never freezes there next to the sea. It did. And I think that was the same storm that a couple days later hit Texas. I could be mistaken on that one. All right, Mennonite Farmhouse. Have a good night. And Howie. All right, Howie's here. Howie, out there on Vancouver Island, how often do you get bad freezes? I mean, not I know you get occasionally you'll get some cold temperatures and stuff. How often do you get bad freezes out there on Vancouver Island?
Corsair's asking again, Court.
Okay, well, maybe I can explain it. I can do it. What, a short version?
You want me to do a quick version?
Go ahead.
Courtney got some bread from the store. Sliced spread. Brett was doing it up. Had the timer set. Went off. Wasn't quite done. Did it again. Forgot to set the timer. Went out of the kitchen. Came back later. Dustin's came back later. Oh, it's on fire. Smoke's coming out and stuff. Yells at Dustin, who's in the shower. Dustin comes
running down the stairs.
Running down the stairs with a towel wrapped around him. Grabs I guess he grabbed mittens to grab it and tosses it outside in the rain.
Uncle Al's laughing.
But the way Dustin tells it, there were flames coming 6 feet out of the oven and almost got to the screen.
I can attest to that. I heard Dustin tell the story after she did, and he said there were 6-foot flames coming out of the oven.
There was not 6-foot flames. There were flames. And my stove was giving out codes, okay? But there wasn't 6-foot flames coming out.
It is kind of bad when you put bread in the oven and you have black smoke rolling out into your home. Did the towel fall off? That's all Steve's worried about. Told you got to watch out for them Marines.
All right, Holly says out there in Vancouver Island, they get about 2 weeks a year, they get winter. So, but all it takes really is a shift.
There's Dustin.
There's Dustin.
Hey, baby.
All true. Fire and bread.
Okay, so
But
I
she got
don't
him
normally burn things in the oven. Okay.
Courtney, he didn't even stop to rinse off, did he?
I don't think so. I think it was like that big of an emergency. It was an emergency, like big time. I was like, I wanted to take it out myself, but I was terrified, to be quite honest. I'm so glad that he came down and rescued me. So, thank you.
All right, so King Poopah was the knight in shining armor, even though he's turned into a villain afterwards by inflating the story.
Well, Corsair trainers, I'll leave that to your imagination.
Now the story's really going to grow on Monday morning.
Just wait until the next time this story comes up.
Hey, Homestead Aquarius. How's it going? Warren Lewis, I forgot to say hi, Warren. Okay.
In the house, Warren Lewis.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So, tomorrow night,
Gardner, Josh.
Courtney, tomorrow night, who's your guest?
I'm not going on tomorrow night.
You're not going on tomorrow night. Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. So, but are you going to do a late party tomorrow night?
I might. I don't know, depending on how I feel. Friday, though, I am canning with Tammy. I will be canning live.
All right. And that starts at what time Eastern?
I usually start around 11:30 just so I can bring people in, but typically it's at noon.
Okay. So Friday, 11:30 Eastern a.m. for Courtney. Thursday night on Thursday Talk on my GrayManPrepping channel. That's this one right here, GrayManPrepping. We're going to do a topic, and I'm going to give credit for this. The type of topic, not what that topic is, but the type thing is from Gardner, Josh, and Bruce when they did what after the event. What are you going to do on something? Well,
I'm never going to live this stuff down, guys. Like, never. People are like, oh my God.
What did Dig say?
The burning bread coming to a theater near you.
Thank you, Bama.
That's Bama. Okay. And Dig said, wouldn't that be a multi-grain fire starter? Okay, so Thursday night, 10 o'clock Eastern, that's 7 Pacific, Steve. The topic, Steve's going to love this because he actually did a 6-part tabletop on it. After Yellowstone blows, what are your plans? What are you going to do afterwards? You prepared for it, and now it's gone. So we're going to have break it up a little bit. What are you doing the first day or so? A week later, what are you doing when all the ash starts coming down on you?
Ginger Ninja, I'm half afraid to tell my stories now. So yes, I can say that I agree with you that I have done that before in the past.
All right, I guess what did she say at the NFL? Sleep with eggs boiling. Yeah. Yeah. My grandmother did that, but she was in the next room. Basically, the door was there to the kitchen, to the living room. She was in the living room, sitting there in her rocker, busy knitting and smoking with 3 cigarettes going. I kid you not. She'd have one in one hand, one in the other hand, another one in the tray. She'd forget she have it there and just get Bill busy knitting. And she has, and that was bad. Oh, no, I know I froze. She had some eggs, hard-boiled eggs going, and it went too long.
Oh my God, Q. Now, you're right, Gunslinger. I didn't take it out too soon. Yes.
All right, so that's Thursday night is Yellowstone blows. What are we doing after the event? I got a bunch of after the events coming up on Thursdays. Friday night on the Homestead is going to be keep it simple. Simple things to make the difference. You don't have to get complicated. As my boss used to say, keep it simple, Survivor. All right, and so Bruce, you don't have a topic yet, or lead-off topic yet for Friday?
No, I'll probably just do a open chat on Friday, see where it goes.
Well, Omicron. Oh, do you want the what is it when you take the letters and mix it up and make a new word?
The letter scrambles you talking about?
Scramble, yeah. Well, the letter scramble Omicron. Do you know what it comes up as? Moronic.
Oh God. moronic.
It does. So I saw that. I thought, yeah, it does. It does spell moronic.
Anagram. Kaylin got it.
Anagram. Yeah, anagram. Thank you, people. Kaylin and Warren, anagrams. So, yeah. All right, so that's what's coming up there. Next Tuesday here, we're going to talk about medications for your preppings. And I'm not sure, being that late, I'm not going to be able to get Doc Bones and Nurse Amy in it, but we will talk about some of their books as well, especially the antibiotics and stuff like that. So we're at the top of the hour now. Anything else you want to say about preps, rain, snow, freezing?
Biggest thing is if you're in an area where it snows and gets down to minus 20, minus 30, make sure that you've taken care of your pipes. That is the worst thing in the world to have to deal with when it's minus 20, minus 30 outside. And trust me, the firefighters that come to help you are not going to be happy with you either.
And your insurance agent's not going to be happy with you having to trudge out there and go look to see how bad the damage is.
Honestly, I wouldn't even consider calling the fire department for that. But
well, when you have half your basement full of water and it's like 15 feet full of water, yeah, then you got to call us because you got to get somebody to pump that out. The other thing is do not try and thaw a pipe with one of those little propane torches. We've been to more fires because of that in the wintertime than anything.
Yeah.
Steve. Oh my gosh. You're guys.
Courtney.
And now the text messages and everything's coming through. I'm getting burning kitchens. I'm getting fire starter by Prodigy. Thank you.
Well, hey, Courtney, I can tell you what's going to happen Monday morning on Steve's Island of Misfit Toys. He's making a note right now to bring it up.
Okay, well, I'll make sure to stop by so you all can make fun of me.
Well, all right. So we're going to wrap this up here, folks. So, remember, wherever you're storing your preps, make sure that room is not going to freeze. Make sure your water pipes aren't going to freeze over it and come raining down on you. There's a lot of fun stuff that, and that's sarcastic, a lot of fun stuff you want to avoid. And just to make sure here, one last little look-see of water damage. It's ugly and beautiful at the same time. Oh, look at that crystal chandelier.
You can do like Niagara Falls does and just shine some lights on it.
Yeah. Oops, the ceiling came down. Okay, there's the garage. All right. What?
Did you get that one from Josh Gardner Josh?
Where'd it go?
He just sent me a GIF. No, he sent me a GIF on my phone.
Oh.
Oh, Lord. You got to look at that one, Courtney. Oh,
okay.
Lord.
I don't know which one it is, but yeah, okay. I've just got sent like 5 or 6 of them already.
Yeah,
sorry, I just couldn't stop from laughing at that one.
Oh, okay. Anyways, I can just see Josh posting it on Facebook too.
Oh yeah, I bet you will.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here, folks. But the other thing too to remember: if your house does get frozen out and water leaks, guess what? The insurance company's going to make you move out while it gets fixed in the wintertime. It's not fun to live in a motel in the wintertime.
No.
All righty. See y'all later.
Have a good night, guys.